My name is Vicky.
And my name is Josie, and this week we are taking cooking and our relationship with food little by slowly. We're starting this after I just ate a big bowl of mac and cheese.
Kind of perfect for this topic, though.
It did feel perfect. It did feel
Yeah.
perfect, definitely. I really love that you brought this up because personally, I've been cooking a little bit more at home. And last week, I was in a non-cooking mood, so I ordered Uber Eats. And then today I went back to cooking. I'm like, why does feeding yourself take so much energy, so much time? But it feels so rewarding and good though at the same time though.
Yeah. I agree. Sometimes when I order food, after I've been cooking like for myself for a couple weeks, it doesn't hit the same. And I'm like, oh.
I could have looked in my fridge. There could have been food at home. It would have been fine.
Yeah. I personally feel like I have a kind of a complicated relationship with cooking.
Yeah.
Because I don't do any of the cooking. My fiance does. But when we first got together, I did all of the cooking. And like I kind of felt really overwhelmed by it. And that's how we ended up switching. So yeah. Because yeah, it does take a lot of like work to cook for yourself. You have to like think of the meals that you want according to like the way that you eat and what you're in the mood for, and you need to grocery shop for it. And then if you're following a recipe, you need to do that. It's just very time consuming. You can cook like this amazing meal that took maybe like an hour and a half, 2 hours to make, and then like you're done eating it in like 30, 45 minutes. So yeah.
This morning I went out for I did my workout in the morning. I got home and I was like, I'm gonna make breakfast. Made a few eggs, spinach, made a smoothie, and then I made some hard boiled eggs I can have for tomorrow morning. Because tomorrow I have to go into the office. I was like, let me make tomorrow easier for me. And I felt like I was eating in a rush because I had an hour. I cooked. I like kind of got ready, showered, all that stuff, and then I felt like I was just like eating in a rush, and I was like, I can't even enjoy this. But like, I know this is like better than eating like a freaking like eggo waffle.
Yeah.
Me and a frozen waffle though. And I was allowed to eat like I like to joke that I have an almond mom. She's not an almond mom. She, like I know what almond moms look like. She's just like very mindful about what she puts in her body. Cool. And it's not like I was never allowed to like I could eat like frozen waffles and stuff like that, but she was always like, oh, like she wanted us to have like very like well balanced meals. And so she's like, she would never tell me not to eat things, but she's always very much like, oh, why don't you have this piece of fruit? And I'm like,
yeah. I think it's interesting that you brought that up because I was just talking to my fiance about that, about like how I was introduced to food when I was younger. So when I was like in like middle school, like all the way from like kindergarten to 8th grade, my mom was getting her bachelor's degree and her master's degree. So she was obviously very busy. And my dad was like working all these crazy shifts, and I was primarily like taken care of by my grandparents. And my grandma is like an almond mom. She like would like make like really healthy meals, like lots of like tilapia and like salads and like grilled chicken and that kind of thing. And then when I would go back to my parents' house, like on the weekends or like after school, it was 1,000% like Popeyes and like White Castle and like fast food, because they were tired from like working all day, and they just kind of wanted something fast so they can get back to like what they're doing, or like my dad could leave for work and my mom could go like study for exams or something. So I feel like that's always been like a dichotomy in my mind of being fully aware of how to prepare like healthy and nutritious meals for myself, but also like knowing the comfort and like ease of fast food.
Yeah. And I think in my household, like that was seen between my mom and my dad. Oh, when my mom had to work late, we were eating like eggs and what was he salchicha like, or like eggs and ham, eggs and beans, eggs and something.
Yeah.
No wonder I had beef with eggs for the longest time. And then I felt like I was eating in a rush because I had an hour. I cooked. I like kind of got ready, showered, all that stuff, and then I felt like I was just like eating in a rush. And I know what I'm like no wonder I had beef. I had beef with eggs for the longest time. And now I know why. It's all just come back to me.
Yeah.
So that was very much like my dad, or we would like go pick up food and just like share it. But my mom, I remember, I have a vivid memory of her. She would work at 9, and she would drop us off at school, but she would wake up like an hour or two before we did to like cook. Because she really liked us having like home cooked meals. So she would drop us off at our grandma's, and she would drop off like the dish, and she's like, "This is what y'all are eating later." And sorry, random thought, but last week my roommate made enchiladas. No, she made mole and then rice. And I had the rice, and I was like, "Oh, you use canned tomatoes for this, right?" Because I grew up with my mom always using a fresh tomato, so I know the difference between a canned or like pureed tomato versus like a fresh tomato. And she was like, "Yeah, I did." And I remember the first time my friend, I saw one time I looked at my friend, she was making rice, and she pulls out a tomato flavoring packet, and I was like, what?
That is kind of crazy. I don't think I've ever seen a tomato flavoring packet.
Because you know how they have the chicken flavoring? They make that in a tomato thing too.
That's kind of crazy. Yeah. What is that? Just like freeze-dried tomato flakes?
I don't know. It's like a powder.
Okay.
It's like a powder, but like my mom could be an almond mom, but what makes her not an almond mom is that she doesn't push her agenda onto anybody. But she's always been like very much like, you use the ingredient like Whole Foods type of gal. I was gonna say bitch, but I was like, let me not call my mom a bitch right now.
I have a similar story where my fiance was like making some food or something like that, but it called for beans, and he like fully went to the store and bought like canned beans, and I was appalled. I was like, what do you mean? And like that's just like his mom just never like made fresh beans, and I've only ever gotten fresh beans. I've never eaten beans out of a can. So I was so confused.
My roommate had that same look towards me when she saw me use canned beans one day. And I was like, listen, if I'm going to make too much beans if I make it on the stovetop. And if I can make things easier for myself, I can. I mean, we've had a lot of conversations like that, because she's told me to, like in her household, like they weren't too open about like buying like pre-cut fruits or stuff like that. And I'm like, if you have the means, and if you can make your life a little bit easier on you, like, yes, like I feel like my family would like side-eye me if they saw me picking up like a tray of like pre-cut fruits. But if it means I'm eating fruits and I'm making my life a little bit easier, I don't think there's shame in that. Which is crazy that I'm saying that, given that I side-eyed her for using canned tomatoes. My bad.
Yeah. It's crazy about the cut fruit thing, because that is such a controversial like topic in like POC households.
Yes.
So it's just really interesting, because I have literally no allegiance towards like cut fruit or not cut fruit. I've always thought that it was like a luxury, because like we never got cut fruit. Like you just get the mango, you get the pineapple, you get the whatever, like you're getting the melon, whatever. You cut it yourself. But my fiance has a very like strong, I was gonna say aggressive, but strong perspective on that. Like does not like cut fruit. Thinks it's a waste of your money.
I do agree with you. I do feel like it's a luxury, and I do feel like, yes, it can feel like a waste of money, but I think there are times where I might feel like a little bit more low energy, or I don't feel like maintaining or taking care of myself as much, and I'm like, if this is the way that I'm going to eat fruit, I'm not going to let myself feel shame for it. But like weekends, like this past weekend, we went grocery shopping, we picked up fruits, and then when we got home, we like pre-washed we didn't buy any cut fruit. We pre-washed everything, and we were like, okay, we got the easy things like berries and like grapes, so then we could just wash them and put them away. We were like, okay, cool.
Yeah. My sister loves berries and grapes. She has ADHD, and it like helps her like focus on tasks, to like that repetitive motion of eating like a single blueberry and like studying a little, eating like a single grape and studying a little. She could probably talk on end about like the scientific research behind how that helps you focus. But that's what she's really into. So kind of similar to like a toddler. I always see like on TikTok where like parents to toddlers are just like, I didn't know that I would have to be buying so many berries. It's like my sister. Lots of berries all the time.
I don't know why that reminds me. When I was a kid, my mom would have us do summer homework and weekend homework. She would pull out packets for us, and she would give us a snack. And I would tell her, okay, I'm going to eat my snack as I study, but then when I'm done eating my snack, that's when I'm done studying. And she was like, that's not how this works.
You trying to con your way out of
And I wasn't going through my snack quickly. I was trying to pace it out. She didn't know my intentions. It's not her fault.
It's interesting because I feel like as I get older, my relationship with food has kind of changed, especially since like obviously I am like more in control of what I eat. So I feel myself getting a lot like reverting, I guess, to a lot of the stuff that I like remember eating like in my childhood versus like when I was in college and high school. I drank like a lot of energy drinks and like ate a lot of like chips and like junk food just because it was like stuff that I didn't always have like readily available. Because like while my parents like ordered like a good amount of takeout, we didn't have like junk food in the house. So
yeah, no, I feel that because I don't think I ate like a lot of junk food growing up. We didn't have like frozen chicken nuggets or anything like that. But like once I did start living on my own, I was like, okay, like frozen chicken nuggets and like mashed potatoes. I'm like, okay, cool, dinner.
You consider frozen chicken nuggets junk food?
No, but I mean like snacks and stuff like that. We didn't have those type of snacks.
I guess so.
Yeah, we didn't have those type of snacks. Yeah, and I just like really wanted like those kind of snacks or those readily available foods. Because I do think I lived in one of those what are they called? Ingredient households.
Yes, I 1,000% did too, and now unfortunately I still live in an ingredient household. Yep. Because it's like every single time I'm like, oh, I just want something fast. I like end up making like this full ass meal, and then it's because I only have ingredients. Yeah, sometimes I just need things out of convenience. I think the one convenient thing that we have is protein bars. My fiance loves protein bars, so then that's something that we have.
The one convenient thing I have is popcorn.
Yeah.
And every time I'm like, oh, I want a snack. I open up like the fridge or the pantry, and I'm like, who did this?
Yeah.
But recently I've started buying like just like tortilla chips and like the guac, and I think that's another readily available snack that I have now. But I think overall, like my relationship with food. I think it's gotten better. Okay. Because like I feel like I'm at a place now where I can understand. My mom, I was told this all growing up, right? We learn in health classes, we learn from our parents, like, okay, this is what you need to be like well balanced and all that stuff. But I think my brain has finally matured enough to understand like what that actually like means and looks like. So it's not like I can have my frozen waffle, but I should probably also have fruit with it or something else that's going to be filling and nurturing for me. And so I think I've gotten in a place with my relationship with food where I'm like trying to be a little bit more mindful and trying to take more time to like cook and appreciate the flavors and stuff like that. But that's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. And I agree with you. I feel the same way. But I think the difference for me, and maybe it's the same, but you just like didn't note it, is that the only reason why I started doing that was because I saw like the way that like eating better or eating more like wholly made me feel. And I was like, oh, I have more energy. Oh, I feel like actually like full. I don't like have like a craving for like sugar or like a like a carb or something like that after eating like a full meal that I cooked for myself because I had like all the sides that I was supposed to.
Yeah, yeah. I'm so glad you brought that up because I think about that all the time. Like me and Coke, I love a Coca-Cola. Like, but when I do drink the soda, I'll finish it and I'm like, dang, I'm still thirsty. And then I remember like, you can have Daisy fact check this. I feel like literally like soda and stuff like that. It's like a freaking drug because like I drink it and then my body's like more. You're thirsty.
Yeah.
I'm not thirsty. I'm like soda's just like making my mouth dry,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh yeah, the only thing that can save me is another soda.
Isn't it the same thing with like Daisani or Daisani or something like that, where like you drink that and you still feel thirsty?
They say that had salt in it.
Probably, I don't know.
I don't know. But
I'm not gonna fact check that one because honestly, fuck Coca-Cola. So.
No, for real. But yeah, I like when I don't eat dairy and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, my body does feel good. And last week when I did get the Uber Eats last week, I felt like that was a day where I felt like more rushed, and I felt so much more sluggish because I kind of rolled out of bed. And I felt like my whole like day was like impacted by that. And I was like, I don't have the energy to cook. I'm gonna get Uber Eats. And then that kind of just contributed to the mood too. And it just kind of kept going downhill.
100%.
Yeah. But when you cook, you get to take time for yourself.
Yeah, because like I said, I don't do the cooking. My fiance does. But when I do like step in and like make a meal once a week or twice a week, I'll like put on my music or I'll watch TikToks, and it's like a moment to like stand and like walk around because I'm usually like pretty sedentary all day at my desk. So yeah, it's nice. Yeah. And like I don't know, like gets me kind of excited for the idea of like cooking, like if I ever have kids or something like that, because some of my like favorite memories with my grandma and my mom were like both respectively in their own houses cooking and like their styles, and like my grandma teaching me how to cook, and then my mom like reinforcing those skills over time. So yeah.
Oh, that's sweet. I really like this conversation, and I like how it was truly about just like the foods and the way it makes us feel. And I think it's something that I am currently trying to be more mindful about. So it felt good to like recenter myself in that.
Same, yeah. I didn't really talk about this, but I feel like I've always had like a personally like an interesting relationship with food. So seeing where I am right now with food is like exciting and cool, and yeah, it was nice to like talk about and look at it kind of like a like from like a bird's eye view.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all we can do is just keep taking it little by slowly, I guess.
Yeah.